Hello. Hello, beautiful people. Really excited to be sharing some information tonight with those of you who jump on live, or if you're watching the replay later. Super excited to spend some time with you tonight. And to those of you who are mums of fur babies or human babies, wishing you a beautiful Mother's Day, what's left of it. I hope that you've had a wonderful day. The interesting thing for me for my Mother's Day, the biggest gift I want is to be away from all my children. I don't know if other people experience that we so love being mums, but then on Mother's Day, I'm like, please, I just want to be by myself. So beautiful people, thanks for jumping on. I'd love you to type in the comments where you are tuning in from, whether it's Melbourne or Victoria or a different state or maybe a different country that you have jumped in tonight into the Thrive group. I know because it's Mother's Day, it just means so much more that you've jumped in to spend tonight with me, because I know many people will be having to spend the time with their families tonight. So those of you who don't know me, my name's Alicia Jumay Temmerman, and I'm really excited tonight to share with you information that has taken me a long time to come forth and to start sharing with the world. And I'll explain a little bit about that. Many of you who are jumping on, I already know you, so you know my story. So please bear with me as you hear it again. But for some of you, it's the very first time that we have met, that we're meeting. So hello to you, beautiful soul. So lovely to connect with you for the first time. And the reason it's taken me so long to talk about the information I'm going to share with you tonight is because it brought up in me lots of fears around what people would think about me when I started to really explain experiences that were taking place with me. And it actually took me 6 years to come out of the spiritual closet and share this information. And it was only in April 2018 that I did that. And even tonight, this is the first time I've really spoken about spirit guides and channeling in a way which is more detailed, I guess. I have spoken about it before, but I've spoken more about energy and not really gone into the nuts and bolts so much around the channeling. So I'm excited to be sharing this all with you all tonight. And in terms of you all jumping in and listening, you may be at various places along the spectrum of belief in these types of things. And I totally appreciate and honor and respect wherever you are in your current life. And some of the concepts that I speak about may be jarring or may hit against paradigms that you have, or narratives and beliefs that you have that have been created yourself through meaning. We give meaning to situations, and we can create these narratives and these stories in our minds from a very young age. So I'm really conscious of that. So I always say, go against your inner knowing. So I'm going to share with you my experiences from my personal experience, but it's for you to test that against your inner knowing and what resonates with you and what feels true to you, rather than just listening to other people and saying, oh, well, that all must be true. These are my experiences, and things may resonate or they may not. And that's totally fine, and I totally respect where you are at. So in terms of just a short version of how this all came to be. So back in like 2010, 2011, I was that workaholic person. I was working as a lawyer and I was trying to be a mum to 2 preschoolers, trying to be a good wife, trying to be a good friend, trying to be a good daughter. People pleaser, like massive people pleaser. Couldn't say no to anything, didn't even know how to identify my own needs, would just be like, yes, 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 I'll do that. You know that feeling where you're just saying yes to everything and everyone except for ourselves? Do people resonate with that? Of being everything to everyone, but nothing left for me, and I really got to the point of exhaustion and I just couldn't continue. And that wake up call led to me starting to get back in touch with my inner self. I'd always been really interested in spirituality and read a lot from my late teens, but I'd really lost my way and my soul had really got pummeled down because I'd got onto that conservative path of, you know, get the best degree you can, get the best job you can, big mortgage, all of the stress of that really took its toll on me. So what happened was I was exhausted and I started initially journaling again. So this is something I'm going to talk about later as a tool. I started to journal and I started to really ask myself questions and try and get back in touch with my soul. Like, who am I? Just like squashed down. What is it that my soul really wants? And that culminated in a really full-on experience, which I had not expected. I'd been having some experiences leading up to this that were interesting, synchronicities and things like that, but this was really overt and extreme. I'm just going to turn my phone on silent because I'm just thinking, if someone rings me, sometimes it disturbs the lives. Oh, I love you all so much. Okay, so I was hanging out the washing, 12th of March, 2012, just hanging out the washing, probably got no shoes on, feet are planted in the ground, and I had this incredible experience where suddenly a voice started to talk to me, but was using my own voice. So, you know, you hear people saying, I heard a message, or I felt I was connected to my intuition or my higher self, and I'm going to take you through those things. But this was someone talking to me using my own voice. And if you've seen the movie Ghost with Whoopi Goldberg, that was the only narrative that I had. I'd never seen channeling. I didn't know anything really about channeling, and I'm going to explain what that is. And I had this experience, so this voice, and it's a masculine voice using my vocal cords, who introduces himself by name and says to me, I am Goenga. I am your father spirit guide, and I'm here to remind you what you are here to do on earth, to teach the laws of energy, to help people remember who they are, magnificent spirits, souls, to connect people back to their inner truth and all of this stuff. And I was like, oh, okay. And I remember kind of almost freezing. Like, my husband probably, if he was in the kitchen or something looking, I'd be like, what has happened to her? Because I was kind of like this, as this voice starts talking to me. So even though it was full on and it freaked me out in some ways, I actually just felt swept with this immense calm, and this it just washed over me, where I knew in my knowing that this was real. Having said that, my legal analysis was, okay, later, not in the process of, okay, 2 things have happened. Either this is true and you are actually a channel for, I didn't know that language then, for a non-physical being to communicate with you, or leash, you have literally lost your freaking mind spontaneously and gone totally crackers, even though you've got no history of mental illness. So I'm like, okay, which one of these is it? I knew in my guts what it was, but I still couldn't believe it. So then over the coming weeks, I had more and more different guides coming through and introducing themselves by name, and I'll talk to you about spirit guides and how they have their own names, and explaining various things, and very different in the presentation. So the way they would speak through me, like suddenly I was either like an Emmy Award actress with no acting experience, or this was happening, which I knew was happening, but still the lawyer in me just kind of still needed the evidence. I was like, this is too out there, particularly in 2012. Like now in 2020, do you know what? It's not that out there because there's a whole lot going on. The veil between dimensions is thinning. Many, many more people are experiencing channeling and connecting like this. So, but back then it was more unusual. So I had these different ones coming through, and I actually videoed a lot of them back then because, again, I needed the evidence to show myself. And a few other things happened that really kind of clinched the deal for me. And one was physiological changes in me. So I'm not very musical, have never really been. When I was like in year 9 or year 10 at school, I desperately wanted to be in the musical, and I like tried out for the musical and I didn't even make it into the chorus. That's how musical I was. Oh, it's a bit sad. Anyway, so what I noticed, there were physiological things changing, which was with my vocal cords. And suddenly my tone of voice was changing and my range of voice was changing. And I'd be just singing to the radio in the car and I'd be like, what's going on here? Like, I feel like actually I can start to kind of be like semi in tune now, because there were actually physiological changes taking place with me to allow different non-physical beings to communicate with me. For example, angels, which I'm going to talk to you about, because from my experience personally, people may have had different experiences if you channel angels. From my experience, angels sing. They sing. They're like basically in a permanent musical. So when they're talking messages to you, they're singing messages to you. So in order to talk through my channel, they, I think, needed to play around with my vocal cords to enable that to happen. So that was like a physiological change in my voice. I also had kind of physiological changes that my chiropractor noticed at the time. It was like, one time I went in and she's like, what have you been doing? Because it's like I'm working on an entirely different body. And I was like, that's interesting. I didn't tell her what was going on. And the last thing that really like sealed the deal for me was that one of the guides came through and was speaking in a different language, like a full-blown different language. And it kind of freaked me out at the time, actually. It was a bit too much for me. And I remember like actually saying, do you know what? I'm not sure I'm ready for this now. In any event, another guide explained to me that the language was called Ancient Minahasan. And I thought, okay, that's interesting. I don't know what that is. And he said, don't worry, your soul understands that language. So when this language comes through, it resonates with you at the soul level, your true self. And so even though your human self can't understand it, then that's okay, don't worry about it. But I went to Google thinking there's no way it's going to be anything on Google. And honestly, this is a moment in my life that I'll never forget. I type into Google, Minahasan. I probably spelled it wrong, I don't know. And I was like, oh my gosh. It said in Google that Minahasan is an ancient dialect of North Sulawesi in Indonesia, a particular area called Manado, right at the tip of Sulawesi. That is where my blood grandfather is from, in Indonesia. So this is an ancestor guide who's talking to me, who's part of my bloodline, And I was like, oh my God. Okay, all right, Alicia, you are not crazy. Like, this is really true and really happening. But despite all of those things that I knew it was true, I still didn't have the guts to tell people about it. I literally told maybe 5 people for 6 years. I was just like, I just didn't have the courage to do it. I was really concerned about people thinking I was a freak and all of these things. Anyway, thankfully I've kind of moved past that now, and I'm still working on it, but I definitely care much, much less about what people think about me now, which has been very liberating in itself. So I want to share a little bit with you about channeling, and to explain and share with you that every single one of us can channel. And there's all different forms of it, and we can tap into various different things. So I want to share that with you. I also want to share with you that not once have I had a moment of anything negative, of anything that has been remotely, I guess, scary or fearful or anything. Because I know that there are some stories where people maybe have entities and things, communications and all of those things. I have had none of that. I've only had messages of love, kindness, support, comfort, just incredible comfort that I want to share with you all today. And in terms of channeling and what it actually is, so what my guides have explained to me is that we are walking vibrations, energy waves. So each one of us is waves of energy. We think we are individual, we think we are our own separate self, but quantum physics, scientifically, not so much. Spiritually, also not so much, which I'll talk about as well. Oh my God, I'm so excited to be talking about this stuff. It just feels like I'm like coming out of the closet even more. Just like going, you know what? I'm just, I feel like pumping into This Is Me song right now, because I'm telling this story, and in this safe, beautiful, loving, supportive space, this beautiful energetic container with you all. And I just can feel your love and support and your understanding. So I'm feeling all of that from you. Thank you. Mwah. Thank you so much. Just feeling so much love from you all now. So we are basically radio stations walking around frequencies of energy. And so we can tune into different frequencies of energy, and we can tune into energies beyond this physical dimension. This physical dimension where we're in, like the third dimension, where there's laws of time and space and all of those things, we are able to tap into dimensions beyond that, because we are not of this dimension. We're not humans. We're living human experience right now. But the reason, is there's something in you that just feels like you're not quite home here on earth. I'm just sit with that for a sec. Is there something that just feels like there's got to be something more? Something that resonates, that you feel deeply at peace? Because you know what? On earth, it is very, very rare for people to obtain any kind of deep, long-lasting peace through anything that this earth can provide us externally. You might have a few days where you're feeling like everything's going awesome and, you're kicking goals and things are all happening, but then something else takes you there and here and there. And even in a whole day in earth, you can have like the full roller coaster of emotions. Because we're here on this earth school learning, but it's not our true home. We're having an experience here, but it's not actually where we belong, and it's not our home in terms of the resonance of our true energy vibration, which is pure love, which I'm going to talk about again and again, because that is ultimately the message that I am on earth to share, as many of us are. So, in terms of channeling, in order for me to communicate with non-physical beings beyond this dimension, then it's about my frequency, and they have to kind of reach down to make their frequency a little bit denser, probably a lot denser, to be able to tap in and basically connect into my channel of energy where they can use me as a vessel to talk through me. So there's a couple of different types of channeling I've since learned, because I had to actually work out and find out what is this thing. And so there's something called trance channeling. And with trance channeling, that is not me. I don't trance channel. I don't know how to even trance channel, and personally I don't really want to. So trance channeling is when a non-physical being actually kind of takes over the human body. The human body is not conscious of this, and then they give their message, deliver the message, and then they leave, and then the human body takes back over. So then they'd maybe have to record it to watch back the message. So for me, I'm conscious channeler. So that means when the non-physical entity, loving, beautiful energy, uses my channel to share messages, I'm conscious. So I'm there and I'm kind of observing the words coming through my mouth, so I can kind of be part of the conversation, or can stop and ask them a question and then they can ask me a question, things like that. So if I'm channeling in the mirror, it's kind of like I'm having a conversation with a friend. So they're in front of me, I'm like Alicia talking, and then they are talking back to me in the mirror, if that makes sense. So there's lots, I said at the start, you may have had various narratives or conditioning or thoughts around these things, and just test things against your inner knowing. And I don't want to be pushing anything onto you, but I'm just going to share my experiences. Another disclaimer I will share with you is that I am a human who stuffs stuff up all the time, makes mistakes all the time, flies by the seat of my pants, still has overwhelm, still has all the things that humans have. So it's not like, oh, well, you can access this kind of energy, so then you're just like this walking Zen person all the time and like floating around. No, I am like fully in the trenches of living human experience and all of the stuff that comes with that. So please know that even if you may be channeling already, connecting already fully with your intuition, all of those things, and I'm sure you can resonate with this. Yes, it gives us some great tools and can help to calm us really quickly, but still, there is no human on this earth who will live through their life on Earth School without all of the things, right? All the ups and downs, all of the experiences that we have. But that's actually part of the learning and our opportunities and our growth and all of the things. So I want to share with you some key knowings that have come from guides. And these are the things that have brought me the most comfort, the absolute most comfort in living on this earth. So the first thing is our true self. Your true self is a magnificent spirit. You are currently housed in a vessel, which is in the form of a human body. All of us have got, different situations going on there. But this stuff is actually not us, really, in any way, shape, or form. It's a physical body that we're grateful for, and it helps us do amazing things and experience things. But we are not our body. It helps us. It's a learning device for us to live an experience on earth. And when we get really super attached to our human body and we think we are our human body, it's not surprising that we can feel exhausted. We can feel like we've got no energy left in the tank because we've got this limitation that we are human. When we start to live from our truth, our infinite power, our pure love, then we don't have those restrictions anymore, and the energy increases and all of the things that come with that. So the first thing is, we are magnificent spirits. We are not this thing that carries us around, even though we're very grateful to it. The second thing is, we never die. Our spirit is eternal and we can never be harmed. So many things happen on Earth School, on this planet, that are devastating, that are so sad, so upsetting. I mean, I'm an empath and I feel it. And even though I have a knowing of a different perspective of Earth because of this information, it doesn't make it any less sad. There are things that happen. But if we also know that we actually never die, and maybe if you think of it, who's seen Jumanji? Has anyone seen Jumanji? Oh my God, my kids made me see it and I actually loved it. And so with Jumanji, it's like they just have avatars and you've just got like a bot. Oh, I'm Alicia this time round. Okay, we'll do this. We'll learn. We'll be Alicia, and what will come and see how we go. So we're a magnificent spirit. We never die. We are eternal. There is nothing on earth that can harm us. There is nothing on earth that can harm us. And without getting religious, but everyone knows the story of Jesus, and the crucifixion demonstrated that to us, that he did not die, that he was eternal and is eternal. Number 3, we are pure love, and we are deeply, deeply, deeply loved. When we start to connect with how loved we are by our Creator, whatever name you choose to give that, it is like, we are so loved. You are so deeply loved and known. Each one of us matters. Just as your children are known to you, if you're a mum, or your nieces, or your fur babies, you know them. We are known. We are all ultimately one. We are part of this one collective, universal energy, co-creating our experience on Earth together, a universal mind. So I'm going to take you through connecting with your higher self, then a little bit about connecting with your guardian angel and information about your guardian angel, and also information about connecting with your spirit guides as well. So in terms of connecting with your higher self, so people might use these things differently, but for me, I just kind of, the higher self for me is the same as your inner truth, your spirit, your soul, all of those things, and also your intuition. The intuition's not completely right up there, but once you're starting to access that intuition, you're getting closer to that kind of frequency and that kind of energy. So, as I've said, everything's vibrating. Everything is energy. We are energy. Quantum physics now, thankfully, is proving this. It's what the mystics have known for eons. Our true self, our higher self, is pure love. Unconditional love. Through our thoughts and through our actions, we get to choose, as our awareness grows, what frequency we want to tune into. All of those frequencies are available to us at any time. We can choose a frequency of guilt. We can have a situation and we can choose a frequency of guilt if we choose to place that meaning on it, or we can choose a higher frequency. And many of you have probably come across The Map of Consciousness, David Hawkins' amazing book, Power versus Force, where he explains this in a much more articulate way than me. So, you've got right at the bottom, the dense energy is shame, then we've got guilt, then apathy, then grief coming up, fear, desire, anger, pride, courage, neutrality, willingness, acceptance. Now we're getting into a higher frequency, reason, love, joy, peace, enlightenment. And there's various versions of this, but just they're the key ones. So in order to access our higher self, we need to be tuning into frequencies that are close to our spirit, not the dense energies. The more we choose to go into the dense energies, the more we're blocking ourselves from accessing our intuition. And what is really interesting to me when I've been doing some individual energy work recently is the meaning that we give things. And what I've been noticing is that particularly the ages 0 to 7, or it's even been up to 10, there is meaning that we are attributing to certain situations that we have that actually then forms a physical shape in a various chakra that has been formed energetically because our mind has decided to give a situation meaning, and then in our actual energetic body, in a chakra, we have created basically a density of energy in a various shape. So our thoughts have power. There are no idle thoughts, and being really conscious of the thoughts that we have about ourselves, about others. And I'm going to talk about the fact that they're all the same. What you think about others, you are thinking about yourself, because we are one universal mind, which is really hard to get our heads around because we seem so individualized right now. And I was in the shower and I was thinking, how can I explain this? How could I get it if trying to understand this? And what came to me was like a bar of Cadbury chocolate. Those of you who know me know I love my sweets. So imagine like a bar of chocolate, and it's got all of its individual pieces, and it's in that little form individually. So it looks like each piece is this individual piece with its own little maybe personality, its own whatever. But then you warm it up, melt it up, and it's all the one, and it's all the same. So we are, I feel like Forrest Gump. We're just like a box of chocolates, people. We are a box of chocolates. Well, maybe not a box because they've got to be all connected. So a block. We are a block of chocolate. Top Deck. Maybe, I love Top Deck. No, there's different colours though. Maybe we can't do that. Just plain dairy milk chocolate. We're a block of chocolate, so we think we're individualized, but we're not. And I'm going to talk to you about this because this is such an important key to increasing your vibration when we start to really remember this on a deep, deep level and resonate with this. I love it. You liked my chocolate analogy. I know, the shower. The shower's so good for this stuff. Okay, so your higher self, your spirit, your true you is eternally connected to spirit guides, angels, God, higher dimension. So there's an aspect of you that is always connected, has all of that knowing. It's already there, and you already have that within you. You don't actually need to go outside yourself to find any of this because you have all of that. It's just about learning how to access that. And every person, every single human is able to access this because it's our true nature. We are of spirit. We are spirit. That is what we are, living in the form of a human body. And we have all been given this divine gift. It's not like, oh, that person's special and they've got it, and that person's special and they've got it. I bet you if I had a chat and an interview with every single one of you, you will all be able to explain to me one time or 1,000 where you have felt connected to your soul, where you have felt grace, the presence of grace, where you have felt absolute beauty and love and unconditional love, all of those things. You would have so many experiences, I'm sure, where you could explain where you've had those moments. Many people just haven't unwrapped the gift. We've all got the gift, all been given to us. And this is like in the Bible. Again, I'm not religious, but I did grow up with a Catholic upbringing. And in the Bible, it says something like, few are chosen, or something like that. But my understanding now of this from reading recently was not few are chosen. It is all are chosen. Few listen. Few listen. So we have the chance to be those people that are opening this gift that we've been given. And I don't want to be at the end of my human life and it's like I look down and I go, oh man, I missed the whole point of that. I was just like watching Netflix and eating twisties and I kind of like missed the whole thing. So let's not do that. We need so many people awake to these truths, to be sharing this, to be helping people to enjoy their life more, relax, breathe. It's all going to be fine. You are safe and held and loved. So when we access the denser feelings, that's when we are moving away from our true self, our spirit. When we move into stress, into guilt, and to worry, we're moving away from our true nature. And there's a reason why it feels amazing in nature, with oceans and forests, because the vibration of those spaces is closer to our truth. That's why we feel it. You feel it in your bones. Do you agree? When you go into nature, you feel it in your bones, and we respond positively. I was just reading something recently about if you go for a walk in a forest, your immune system has positive effects for like a month. How crazy is that? But not, because we actually know in our knowing that it feels good. Okay, so your spirit, your truth, your higher self, your soul is divine and is always guiding you from pure and unconditional love. So we have a choice. We listen to our human self, our logical, rational thinking, our ego self, fear, all of those things that take us away from spirit, or we listen and lean into spirit. The questions you can ask, what would love do right now? What would love have me do right now? What would spirit do right now? And I don't know if this is true for you. Yes, earth, feet in the barefoot, bare feet in the earth. Amazing. So good for us to ground us. So just feeling for you now in your knowing is, oh my gosh, I'm going to go so way over. I run this group and I say, 30 to 40 minutes. Oh my gosh, I've got so much to tell you. Okay. So I'm going to try and speed it up. But even though we go through hard times and we have stressful things up and down, and even one day I said it's a roller coaster, do you have a deep knowing that you're actually going to get through? Do you know that? Do you feel that? I'd be surprised if you didn't. I think most people, even though there's so many things that happen in life, we just kind of have this deep sense that we're going to get through, because we are, and we've got through again and again through various human lives. Because our higher self, our spirit, our soul has a knowing and has a different perspective on your human life than we can within our limited human mind. It sees things differently. So, a way to increase your energy vibration and really get close to your spirit is to remember that we are this collective universal mind. We are brothers and sisters. If you harm anyone on this planet, you are harming your brother or your sister. Not only that, you are directly harming yourself, because we are all the same collective energy. When we start to see the divine in everyone we meet, it's a divine encounter, we start to remember who they are and thus remember who we are. So much, I'm going to have to cut things out. I have so much to say. Okay, so when you're more connected with your intuition, with your soul, and living from that place and making decisions from that place, life is much more in flow. We don't have to push. You can really surrender and listen and watch, and when your intuition strikes, take it. I mean, this setting up this Thrive group was that. It was literally intuition, bang, do it. Whereas in the past, I wouldn't have listened because the doubt would have come up. Oh no, I can't do that, or whatever it was. Once we start to really remember our truth, we can drop so much of the stuff that drains us on this planet. What are those things? People pleasing, doing everything out of obligation, living your life on other people's terms. That starts to fall away. No longer do we need the recognition of other people. No longer do we need everyone to kind of affirm us and this and that. And we already know we're worthy. We already know that we are 100% complete at the soul level, and that the person we're talking to already is as well. So we're not having to do all of that stuff. The perfectionism, we start to drop the perfectionism. I mean, that was like, man, what a life sucker that is. Who's a perfectionist out there? Or who's a reforming perfectionist? Because, man, I've played that game and it sucks. It's just heartbreak and devastation and never good enough, all of that stuff. But the more we start to connect with our truth and our worthiness, then the more we go, you know what, I'm going to be all right. I don't have to spend, 40 hours preparing for something, because I just trust that when we're on, and whatever's going to come, it's going to come, and it's going to be right for the moment, right for the person I'm talking to, because I'm allowing the quietness to come and allowing the intuition to flow forward, and trusting yourself. Trusting you've got your own back and you've got the answers already, and not second guessing ourselves. And I tell you what, I'm not completely there by any stretch of the imagination, but it is an absolute relief living from being rather than pushing. And, I've been in that world. I've worked in a big firm for like 10 years as a lawyer, and I pounded myself. And the stress of living that way is can really take its toll. So I could talk on that topic of intuition and spirit and everything for a long time. I could just talk for a whole month on all this stuff. But I'm now going to move now to angels, to guardian angels. So angels are part of mythology and history for forever, since we've had history. They're referred to in most religions: Christianity, Buddhism, Taoism, Judaism, Islamic traditions as well. So, even though some people might, see channeling angels as something to be wary of, it's littered throughout the religions. So angels are messengers of spirit, of the Holy Spirit. So ideally, we want to get our frequency to a point that we can just communicate directly with our Creator. So yes, spirit guides are lovely and angels are lovely, but that's not the ultimate aim. The ultimate aim is to be able to just communicate directly and to hear that guidance directly from our Creator. But angels are an intermediary, where they are messengers of the Spirit, or Holy Spirit, whatever you want to refer to it as. Angels are different from spirit guides. So, unlike spirit guides, angels have not lived a human experience. So, they are vibrating higher than spirit guides. They are of this angelic realm, like way up there. And my understanding, my experience is that every single one of us has their own, how cool is this system, like this creator who created this amazing system for us to play in. every single one of us has their own guardian angel. You absolutely, undeniably have your own guardian angel. Does that just like bring you comfort? Many of you probably already know that, have experienced that. But from the first breath that we take as an earth person to the very last, we have our guardian angel with us, helping us, to guide us, wanting to communicate with us. Many people have shut this down, have shut this part of us down, and have not wanted to connect in this way. And a lot of people have experienced things as children as well. And as we grow up and we become adults and we get serious and blah, 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 then we can shut this part down in us. Always test, as I said, against your own knowing. I know I've said that everyone has a guardian angel, but I'd love you now to take a deep breath and just feel in for you. Does this feel true for you, that you have your own guardian angel? Does this feel true for you? Just feel in your body if this feels true for you. Do you feel that there's someone actually with you always? There's someone kind of looking over your shoulder when you're just by yourself. I mean, it's not only when you're by yourself, but does it resonate with you, with your soul? Does it ring true? And just close your eyes and say to yourself and see how it feels in your body, in your soul. I have a guardian angel who loves me unconditionally and is with me for all of my human experience. Does that resonate with you? I'd love, if it does, give me some comments to let me know, or put some emojis. Just does it, maybe for some of you, you've felt a connection with your guardian angel for the very first time, which would get me like seriously excited. Saw some emoji, saw some whatever they are, love hearts, beautiful. So, our guardian angel, yes, good, love it. Woo. So exciting. Our guardian angel wants to communicate with us, wants to help us. But I'm going to talk a little bit later. I'm going to talk about guardian angels, I'm going to talk about spirit guides, and I'm going to talk about how we connect with them. So, they want to help us. They are here. They love you. They know everything about you. Everything. They are here for everything, and they love you no matter what. There is nothing you can do that will lose the love of your guardian angel. And the very first time I actually connected with my guardian angel, it was actually before the channeling was it before? I can't remember now. It was either before or after the channeling started. I was actually lying in my bed. I was just lying in my bed, and I just suddenly literally felt like I got enveloped and held, and into my ear she whispered her name, and I was like, oh my God, what just happened? But it was just like I got encased in the most beautiful love, and I had her name whisper into my ear. And then when later she came through directly channeling with the same name, and I was like, wow, this is just amazing. So look, there's lots we can talk about with angels, but everyone has your guardian angel, but there are other angels that you can call on as well. And there's also archangels, which I'm not going to really go into detail about that. But what I can tell you is from the times that I have channeled archangels, that energy frequency is beyond anything that, like, you can feel the difference between the guide's energy, an angel's energy, and an archangel. So they are literally like the overseers of all of the angels. So because we are multidimensional beings, because the angels are, they can be in all sorts of places, for example, the archangels. So that's why lots of people can call upon the same archangel at the same time. But also, we think there's time and space that exists because we live in this human physical plane, but it doesn't really exist. It's hard to get our head around. It is very hard. I wish I had a chocolate bar analogy for that one, but you just have to think about that. And many of you have already, I'm sure, come across that as well. So I want to talk a little bit about spirit guides. So every human has guides. So we have a guardian angel. We're not just sent to earth and like, good luck, sort it all out. You're in a pretty hard school there where there's a whole lot of stuff that goes on and we're not going to give you no support. No, we have our guardian angel and we also have guides. And guides are non-physical beings and they exist on higher levels of consciousness. They often have lived human lives before. Not always, but they may have lived on different planets, but they have usually lived human lives because they're guiding someone who's in Earth school. Those of them who have lived a human life, they get it, they understand how this planet works. They have the name Ascended Masters, which I didn't know what that was, but then they told me that's what they were. And then again, I Googled that and that had a whole explanation as well. So they've lived in human school before. So our guides have got very different perspectives on things that we experience in the human world. And guides can stay with us for a long time or they can come in and out. It's like friends, come in for a season, out, whatever that little rhyme is. So you can have a guide, special purpose guides. You can have, like I have a father guide and I have a mother guide. I have special purpose guides. So I have a guide who helps and teaches me the energy breathing exercises to share with other people to learn how to nourish, boost, clear, protect energy. I have a guide who is around tapping into creativity and fun. I have a guide around communication to help with communication. I have an ancestor guide I spoke about who speaks a different language. So many of us have many different guides. Some have 4, 5, 6, 2, 8, 12, 20, like whatever. It's all different and they come in and out, our guides. So we also have potentially a guide who protects our channel. So I have a guide whose aim and sole purpose is to protect my channel. So as I said, every time I've experienced channeling, I've never had a negative experience. And so, if you are going to start channeling, you want to make sure you protect. I didn't ask for that guide. I didn't even know about that was something, but now I can teach that. I can say, if you're going to start connecting in, wanting to channel, then you want to specifically ask for a guide who can have that purpose to just be protecting your channel as well. And many of you may have yourself or know other people who have had invisible friends when they were little. Did anyone have invisible friends when they were little? So these are likely to have been guides. It's just when we're young, the veil between the different dimensions is much thinner. And so kids can often connect in a much easier way and are much more in tune than we are when we become adults. So the interesting thing about guides is that they have really their own personalities and their own communication styles. Many of you, I know, seeing the names that are coming up here, have seen my direct channelings. And so you can see, right, that the different personalities, the different way they talk, the different ways they use my hands, the different facial expressions. So they come across quite differently and have those different mannerisms. So it's important though to always rely back on your inner knowing when if you start connecting with your guides. They're beautiful and loving and just oozing with gorgeousness, but we don't want to get to a point where you're so reliant on your guides and you're always having to check everything against the guides. It's really like always be checking against your own inner wisdom. And in any event, they don't actually tell you, unfortunately, because so many people ask me, like, can't you just ask for your guide to tell you the answer of this or that and this or that? But they don't. There's some rules and limitations as to what information they can provide. And they will just talk like a loving, kind of supportive friend. It's just basically like I've got some extra friends who I can chat to. And so they'll kind of say, oh, it'll be fine either way. You'll be supported either way. It's all going to be good. So they're not going to say, yes, you should do that, or no, you shouldn't do that. I haven't experienced that. Other people might have different experiences with their guides that might be more directive, but that's not my experience. My experience is that my guides help to cultivate love, joy, forgiveness, and acceptance. And they're not actually very specific for me. So it's not like they give me a lot of specific information for me. They really only will give messages for greater good and to be shared with other people. So I've given you a bit of information just about connecting with your spirit, your soul, your intuition, angels, spirit guides, ascended masters. So it all comes down ultimately to God's, if you want to replace that with another word, please do, God's law that we are given free will, and angels and guides cannot intervene unless we make a request. There can sometimes be some exceptions where there are some circumstances where you hear of amazing stories where miracles happen because maybe someone wasn't supposed to pass over as early as maybe what was going to happen, and there might be an intervention. Talking so much, wanting my tea. So that might get you thinking, well, hang on, Alicia, with the washing line, where was your request? You just suddenly had the channeling start to happen. But I had made the request many, many years earlier to connect, and had been wanting to connect and communicate. It just took a long time for it to actually culminate, and we just never know. The timing is not always our choice, and we just sometimes have to surrender to that. But angels and guides, they want to communicate with us. They want to be able to communicate as directly as they possibly can, but we have to make that intention, that desire, clear. It's like Aladdin's lamp. Need to make the request. Need to rub the lamp and make that request. Have that request in your heart and your mind so you can say it or you can write it. Simple as, I request that my guides or my angel or both connect with me. And there's a few ways that I'm going to take you through that you can do that. They cannot interfere with our free will. They can't make decisions for us. They can give us comfort, but they can't really command us. We can create blocks to connecting because we can doubt our intuition. We can doubt signs and symbols, and we can not believe that it's possible because of narratives and conditioning we may have had growing up, that this is impossible, this doesn't happen, it can't be real. So that can energetically block our capacity to connect. So it's really keeping an open mind and curious and trying and being a scientist and just testing for yourself. So key ways to connect. I've gone so over on my own group. Sorry, Alicia. Okay, please don't kick me out of the group. Okay, so the first way that I started connecting with my angels was kind of a little bit accidental, but I'm sure all of you have experienced this, where you start to notice numbers. So when I was about 18 to 20, I started to see the same numbers everywhere. Has anyone experienced this? Please put in the comments if you have started to notice, or in the past, or still do, you know your angel number, you know your number from your guides. Getting some heart loves. Yes, awesome. So when I was young, I started to notice 107 and 1107. So I would start to notice it on number plates in cars. I'd start to notice it at the clock. I'd be reading a book and I'd just be reading, and suddenly my eyes would stop at 107. And with the time, it was the weirdest thing, and it still is. It's like your eyes are pulled to the clock, or I'd reach into my phone and pick up my phone and be 107, 107. And I've had boyfriends over the years that have even thought this is like getting really weird. Like this, they started to acknowledge that this was getting weird. And even yesterday, so I was driving back from the supermarket, and it's not like they have to connect with me through numbers anymore because they just talk to me, but I had been thinking about this talk, and I was driving back from the supermarket, and I was starting to get a bit teary, just about a sad situation that I'm dealing with, and I was just starting to get a little bit teary as I was driving home from the supermarket, and it was just like the eyes, and a car coming towards me was 107, and I was like, oh, you still communicate with me like that. It's so cute, thank you. Like, I just needed that. So this is a really good way to start, is to start to notice, but have to make the request. Make the request to say, guardian angel, please start to communicate with me initially through numbers, and just see what you start to notice, and keep a little journal and write down what you notice. And you might realize you go to the supermarket and your grocery bill is $107, or I wish, oh my God, my kids, I swear to God, it's like $200 every 2 days right now. 107. You start to notice it. You get on go to a hotel and you get 107, or whatever number yours is. So just start to notice and observe the numbers. So the second way that they can communicate with us is through symbols, through smells, through song lyrics, through words in books, through dreams. That's a whole nother topic. So, but make the request and make it specific. So say, I would love you to connect with me through a symbol of, and you can ask for the symbol, a feather, an owl, a fish, I don't know, whatever it is, and a turtle, anything that has meaning to you, and just start to notice, and I swear the craziest things will start to happen, and the synchronicity that happens, just amazing. And it's not only your spirit guides and your angels, your loved ones who have passed over can communicate this way. I've had some amazing stuff happen like that. So sometimes in books you can literally just say, angel, my guide, I would love a message from you, and you just pick up any book, and you just see where it takes you, and you honestly, you'll be amazed at what can come forth. And song lyrics, oh my gosh, all the time. You'll be thinking about something, you might be struggling with something, and then a song will just come that just has the words of comfort that you need in that moment. So they're able to communicate through symbols, and that's why there's a lot of mediums who use symbols to connect, like someone like a John Edwards, if you've seen him, where he brings through spirits who've passed over, and he communicates through symbols. So they give information through symbols that he can then receive and then translate to people. So symbols, smells, sometimes they actually can get into our physical dimension and create a smell that will start to come forth. And it depends, because we're all different, we learn differently, and some people are more open to feeling things, some people see things, some people hear things. So it's also tapping into what is your most open clair. There are different clairs, like clairvoyant, vision, whatever it is. So with the feeling it and seeing it and knowing it and hearing it, so you might start to feel at times, tingling sensations. Some people I know, when their guide's near, they will start to feel tingling in a particular finger or a particular hand, or shivers up the back of their neck, or I get like feels like almost like wind goes past me. The other thing that I get is I see purple flashes or purple glitter, which is so cute. Like, I'll be talking to someone, and then it's like in a cartoon, like you just see this like purple glitter gets thrown on them or something, which is like really sweet. But that's the extent really to my seeing, because a lot of people can see stuff. They can see the guides. I've done channeling recently in a Facebook group, and a woman messaged me. She had she could see the energy come into me. She could see the energy go out, and she could describe exactly what this guide looked like. So amazing. Oh my gosh, I'm so excited. Anna, your guardian angel spoke through for the first time just now. So exciting. Oh my gosh, I'm so excited. Thank you so much for sharing. Thank you for sharing. Super exciting. Okay, so the other way, which is a really easy way to communicate with our guides and with ourself, with our intuition, is writing. Pick up a pen and ask a question. I did a lot of this early on when the channeling started, because it was a bit full on. It was actually a little bit tiring for me initially, because the vibration and having to connect in, and I have to go up and them coming down. And so I actually didn't channel that much for the first 6 years, because it kind of knocked me out a bit, but I would write a lot. So you can just ask a question and just allow to flow and to come through whatever comes through, and you'll be amazed at the information that comes forth. So there's nothing that I've probably shared with you that you haven't heard before, but it's like anything. It's like there's no big secrets. It's just simple things, but the biggest thing is about vibration and increasing your vibration, which I could talk to you for another week about, and I've only just barely touched on that, but energy is a big thing that I'm really passionate about teaching. And so around bringing awareness to your thoughts and what vibrations you are tuning into, and whether you're tuning into spirit or and love, or whether you are tuning into fear and human and ego and all of those things. So when we're living from spirit, the high frequency vibration, that's when we're living with love, from love, we're in the present, we're living with compassion, abundance, like none of this competitive stuff. There is enough for everyone. Just be loving and free-flowing, living with gratitude, generosity, deep care for others, which is ultimately caring for ourselves, because guess what? I am you, you are me, we are all part of the universal one collective energy and mind. Living with a deep sense of self-worth, curiosity and wonder, and living with possibilities. So when you're moving into those spaces, you can increase your energy frequency to lower it, fear, being in the past, in the future, judgment, scarcity, ingratitude, selfishness, without regard to others, sense of unworthiness, living with disinterest, and living with limitations. And when I talk about selfishness, I have to also mention about being self-centered. That's what I want for you. Not self-centered as in a S-C-E-N-T-E-D, but self-centered is in a C-E-N-T, whichever country you're in, R-E-D. Self-centered, having that deep centering that no matter what comes through the external stuff in this planet, we have that knowing, that unshakable inner calm where we know we are going to get through this. We know we are learning lessons. So whenever you're feeling overwhelmed, just ask for angels to come. Surround me, angels. I do this all the time. Help me, guides. Help me. And you feel the calmness wash over you, because your human self is starting to go into panic or overwhelm or get stressed. And we are accessing your spirit, your higher self, who's like, it's fine, darling. Sweetheart, calm down. It's all good. It's all okay. And just really nourishing and calming that inner child, because it's the inner child in us that's often starting to get it a bit unraveled. So in ending, beautiful, beautiful souls, I'd love you to also set an intention before you go to bed to ask your guides to help you in the sleeping space. So ask them to support you during your sleep. For example, you can say to them, please do energy work on me tonight. Help me with my energy frequency and help me to feel nourished when I wake up, so that they can't do that unless you ask them. So you just got to always remember, you just need to ask. And so you're accessing this superpower that you have, this support crew that you have behind the scenes to help you to navigate this human world. Beautiful people. I've gone like so way over. I was gonna like have a section for questions, but it's probably gone a little bit out of control. But I will be doing more talks into the group. Also, for those of you who aren't in my Facebook group, I have a Facebook group where I do the direct channeling, so you'll meet these guides that I've spoken about, and it's in the link is in the, what do you call it? I'll put the link in the heading of this group. I haven't done it yet, but I will, or I'll put it in the comments. So I'd love you to come across and join and be part of this beautiful community of people who are wanting to increase the vibration of this planet and to share love and to share peace and to just help people to just enjoy this opportunity that we've been given and just to breathe easier and know that you are loved and you are safe. And I know it can be tough. I really do get it. You know, Earth is not an easy arrangement sometimes. So beautifuls, I'm going to bid you farewell. Have a beautiful, beautiful, beautiful evening, and I'm so grateful that you've stayed and you've stuck with me even though I've gone late. Yes, thank you. It's called Breathe, Love, Laugh, the Facebook group. Breathe, Love, Laugh, with my name, and join in and be part of this community. I'm so grateful. I hope that this results in you all connecting more and trusting yourself and your intuition and all of those things. And yeah, I'm just thank you. You're beautiful. Shana's reminding me. Global Soul Center. That's my big mission. Create a high energy frequency space to help teach love and peace and just bundle everyone up as much as I can, as humanly possible. So I love you and so grateful to you all for being part of this amazing group. So jump on tomorrow for the next amazing class. We've got a active fitness class with amazing Jessica Fan. We work together as lawyers, and now she's following her soul and teaching fitness as a personal trainer. So I love stories like that, supporting other women. Mwah! I love you guys. Thank you so much. Woo. Bye.